Hello guys, Cap here, and my teams are going to be that of Houston Dynamo. I'm going to go straight into it with Tar Bell is going to be obviously your starting goalkeeper, and there's a bit of maybe a difference between this and the other team I'll show you here, and I'll get in that in due course. But we're actually going to pay the £15 there for the in-season. Now he's not had the best of starts here. Houston have looked a bit shaky. They have had quite a few people missing in the defence as well, which do seem to be coming back now. So I'm hoping that they turn that around. But I think from what they were last season, they were quite defensively strong. So I am expecting that to get better. Now, there is a bit of limbo between Tarbell and also the other goalkeeper as well. So, just take that with a pinch of salt just in case they do decide to change things. So that's the only bit of risk to that. But I'm sure you can pick up that goalie for a few quid extra if you are obviously wanting to maybe pay more than the £50 budget we have here. But yeah, that's Tarbell. Then in your defence, you're going to go for Franco Escobar. Now, I'm a big fan of him personally. Again, because the team's not done too well in the last two games, his scores obviously show and reflect that. He has, again, only just come back from injury. Didn't seem to get the 60 minutes in the last game against Inter Miami as well. And obviously Inter Miami are quite a powerhouse when it comes to scoring goals. So it was never going to be a good fit for the team. But I think overall, yeah, very solid again for the £6 mark. But yeah, as you can see here from previous scores, he is obviously 100 capable and capable of hitting those high scores there for at left back there for Houston Dynamo. Then we go into midfield. We're going to go to Arta again. I think is a very good midfielder. He's someone that doesn't need that decisive actions either. As you can see here from his scores, only had the one assist and also the last man tackle or clearance off the line. Also over the past year. But you can see here he's hitting at least 19 worth of AA again over the year, which is very solid indeed. So yeah, if he's somebody you can rely on to just reassure your midfield, and you're almost like pretty sure to be guaranteed almost that sort of at least 60 score without a goal or an assist. Yeah, I think that's very solid, I think, in my opinion. And again, we're going to pick him up for the £8 mark for the in-season. Then in the forward slot, we're going to go for the obvious one of Ezequiel Ponce. Again, solid player. Did really well in his, fairly sure, his debut season last season. Had 6 goals, 1 assist in 16 games, which is not too bad. It's basically one every two and a bit games. So hopefully he does better this year as sort of Houston sort of pick up more players and do a bit better there, because obviously they've lost quite a few players as well due to injury and also transfers. So I'm assuming they're going to bring another player or two in. But yeah, for £6 for your forward, I believe I've got everything here totaled up to around £41 to £42. Now the kicker to this one as opposed to the next team is that you can actually join the hot streaks with this one for under the £50 budget. So again, a little added bonus for you guys there. Actually forgot to tell you the extra slot is going to be that of Bassi here. He's going to fill your extra slot again for £6, and that makes up the sort of £41 to £42 mark. Obviously do some, maybe get some on bid. Also obviously, send some manager offers. So you should be able to get some quite decent, or quite a lot cheaper, I'm hoping, under the £41 just to make this a bit more worthwhile. But again, a player who did really well last season, 7 assists, 4 goals with a penalty kick one as well in 37 games, alongside 13.3 worth of AA. So again, a very top scorer, and actually I'm one I might personally eye up now that I've seen this, done a bit of research for it, for the limited, of course. So yeah, for the whole thing, guys, for about £40 to £42, I think it's very solid.
What the hell is even that?
Next team, guys, is going to be that of Colorado Rapids. Now, again, a team I am a big fan of. I think they have got good players throughout. I think they're just macking. I think they're lacking that player or two to maybe really push them forward. But we're going to start off in goal here. Your goal is going to be that of Zachary Stefan here. And we're actually going to pay, again, here for the floor price there of £23. Again, a goalkeeper who can put up some decent scores. Obviously, Colorado, a little bit shaky at the back at times. So obviously you've got to really try utilise them in the games that they are more favourable, of course. I think it's believed to be his more home fixtures. You can see there, it's probably his away is probably not as good. Well, they're not too bad, actually, to be fair. So again, a decent one. And hitting at least 10.5 worth of AA is very solid for a goalkeeper as well. So we're going to pick him up for the £23. In the defensive slot, you're going to pick up here Keegan Roseberry. Rosenberry is £1.87 there, and he is coming at those sort of scores. Again, it's hard to rely on, but if we're just talking about stacks in regards to a certain budget, I think, again, it's not too bad. Obviously, if you have more to push in your budget, I'd probably try to see if you can pick up a slightly better player in the midfield or forward slot, as Colorado do score more goals, but they also concede a fair few as well. But for the sake of this video, we've gone for Rosenberry, and also your midfielder slot is going to be that of, here we go, Mihailovic, and he's going to be your classic card. Now, you can pick his classic card up there for £4. And again, for a solid player, you can see his L40 is 62. We can look at his scores, 100 capable, really good peaker as well. Puts up some solid AA as well for 13.8 over the last year. 16 goals, 10 assists in the last 40 games. So 26 in the last 40. Very solid indeed. And yeah, he's pretty much the star man when it comes to that for obviously Colorado there. So again, he'll be your main man, more than likely going to be the main guy you would captain also. And then we're going to go here in the forward slot is obviously going to be that of Rafael Navarro. Again, you're going to be picking him up here for £12.55. Scores-wise, again, very solid. Him and Mihailovic sort of blend off each other quite well, bounce off each other, I should say. Again, so that's also a nice little mixture there. In the last 43 games, he's at 18 goals and 3 assists. So again, not too bad. But yeah, for the price wise, considering you're paying over the top for a lot of these forwards, I think that £12.55 is quite a fair value in my opinion. And then in the extra slot, you're going to go do that of Chidozie. Again, since he started, he's put up some decent scores. As you can see here, back in February against LA, 18 AA, 28 AA, 40, and obviously the last game against Dallas where they conceded 3 goals is obviously -6. It was obviously not the best there and came off after 60 minutes. So obviously didn't have the best of games there, which is fine. That's due to happen. But scores-wise, again, even when he played for, I believe it was Cincinnati, of last year, put up some really good scores. So he's going to have to, be a lot more defensively astute this year, considering obviously it's not Cincinnati midfield here. You've got more of the Colorado, so he's going to be facing a lot more attacking threats. So that could play in your hands quite nicely, considering it's going to push his AA up higher. So again, not bad, and that's only at £4.50. And you can pick all these guys up here for just £46, sort of roughly there as a time recording. So yeah, best of luck, guys, and obviously comment and tag us in any sort of Twitter posts if you do end up buying any of these sort of stacks.
Hi guys, so Ellis here. This is a video to go through in-season stacks for MLS. Big shout out to Sarah Jonesy for coming up with the idea, so let's go straight into it and start with my first team. So we're going to go with New England Revolution. They played 2 games already this season. They haven't scored a goal. And that is a big reason why I've chosen them, because I think they're due to kick off at some point in the fixtures that are coming up. The positives in New England already is they've only conceded 1, and they've already played against Nashville and Columbus. So 2 pretty tricky games, and defensively look quite sound. So just need the attack to sort of kick off. So let's start to go through who I put in the stack. So we've got Ivacic as the goalkeeper. He's not too bad. There's not really much to say about him, apart from he's not a bad keeper at all. Mamadou Fofana has already put out some pretty big scores, which is very nice. The L5 is 61, which is very good, of course. Leo Campana in the forward spot. Langoni, who has some really good form in the last back end of last season, so he's in the team as well. So it's very attacking. So hoping for that to sort of kick off soon. And then we've got Carlos Hill, who's the main part of this team. So yeah, this team is coming in at around £87, which is what I've got it for in season. So if that's if you're going for hot streaks and you have all of the in-season cards. But if you wanted to save some money, then my suggestion would be not getting the in-season Carlos Hill and just getting the classic version, and you'll probably save about £40. It's a huge difference between his classic and his in-season price. But then you won't be eligible for the hot streaks. So that's the only trade-off there. But apart from that, Revs, let's have a look at their fixtures. They're a decent team. Obviously, Carlos Hill is the heartbeat. They're playing against Philadelphia this week, so we've missed that deadline. Then they play against New York. That'll be tough. New York, Red Bulls will be tough at home. Cincy, Atlanta. So the next four is quite tricky. Then they play against New York at home, which is a good fixture. Charlotte might be tough. Toronto is a good fixture. Orlando, San Jose is a good fixture at home. Kansas City is a really good fixture too. So they will. The games will pick up. This run of games here as well is very nice. So in the next four, it's going to be tricky. So my advice would be trying to pick up this stack after those four games, which is New York City, Red Bulls, Cincy, Atlanta, and then try and get in around the back end of April. That'd be a really good time to get in for the Revolutions. Right. This is a one-take video, so we're going to go straight to the next stack already. And if you guys don't know much about me, I do support New York City in the MLS, and I'm going to use them as my next stack. And they're a lot more affordable than New England Revs. So let's have a look at what I've gone for. So Matt Freese in goal, Thiago Martins as that defensive pairing. So my knowledge for New York is much better than it is for New England. That's because I've been following for quite a while, and I've watched a lot of their games, and especially in the last couple of years. So they're a really good pairing. Thiago Martins is an absolute veteran in the MLS. He has already won the Cup. He's the captain of the team as well. He's recovering from an injury, so he should be back now. But that's a really nice pairing. And Matt Freese is a really top goalkeeper. Always passes the eye test. Obviously, you need clean sheets to really get big scores, and so rare. So that's something you want to be banking on. Maxi Morales, at the moment they don't have they lost Santi Rodriguez, so Max Morales is stepping up. He's already got one assist, so he can be that real sort of creative catalyst in the midfield for New York. Up front, I always talk about him. Alonso Martinez is just an XG monster and a really good finisher, so he gets loads of chances every game. Would be my captain choice in this team too. So I don't really talk about him too much, apart from he's an absolute elite striker in this league. And then Justin Hack as well is my extra. Hack, if you look at his past scores, which I can bring up now actually on So Rare, Hack really has been in and out of the New York team. He's still under 23. And let's have a look at his overview. So it's a bit of a risk, but he's already put out this season a 43 and a 47. He was getting some really big AA games towards the back end of last year, but I expect because he's going to be more in the team now as a midfielder, sort of, playing the James Sands role for New York City, I expect his scores to go up, and obviously his minutes as well. So that'll be my stack, and that will be coming in at around £62 if you go for the hot streaks. And if you want to save some money, then I would advise getting rid of Matt Freese in season, going for the classic, and that will save you about £28. So that cost will come down massively, but then you won't be eligible for the hot streaks. Taking a look at the upcoming fixtures for New York, they're really good. Revs and Orlando at home are nice fixtures. Columbus, Atlanta away are very difficult. Then Minnesota at home. Philadelphia at home could be tricky. New England away could be nice. Toronto away could be nice. Montreal at home is a really good fixture. Same as Chicago as well. So New York are very home dominant. When they play at the Yankee Stadium as well, it's a very difficult pitch for away teams to come and play at. So these are ones actually you want to focus on, because at the moment they don't have a solid home stadium. They're moving about a bit. So yeah, those are my teams, guys. Appreciate Jonesy for coming up with the idea.
It's his job, isn't it?
Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of my stacks, and any changes within those stacks that you'd make. Let me know. But yeah, cheers, guys. See you in a bit.
What's up, YouTube? Today, I was tasked with the suggestion of building an in-season team for two teams, and we're going to look at the Columbus Crew and FC Cincinnati as my top two teams that I'm looking to build in-season stacks for. This was a suggestion from the all-around server boys. We are constantly putting YouTube videos together, so go give us a look over there and hit us up on Twitter with the suggestion of what more you want to see. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So suggestion number one was the Columbus Crew, and I am jumping into this after game week 3 is concluded. So you're going to look at where the Crew sit in the Eastern Conference, and they are sitting in third. So from this, we have had two good results and then one not so much, and that was from this past weekend. And we had the 0-0 draw at home versus Houston. What it showed is the attack is lacking, but that is actually to your advantage. And here's why: because people are running and they're running in the wrong direction, and it actually is going to work out for you. And here's why today. So we're going to jump into this. So if you're going to build an in-season team, the first piece you got to go get is the goalkeeper and Patrick Schulte. My suggestion here is actually go get his older season cards, because you're going to find that you're going to get a significant discount. You can buy his last year card for about $16, depending if you're in the States, pound wise. I don't know what that is pound wise. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at what this is around $55, $58 for an instant buy, or $40 when you could do this for $16. So the goal of this video is to try to stay under a budget of about $70. So if you take 16 out of that, we are looking at $54 left over. And then we move to number 2, which is going to be my suggestion of Steven Moreira. Now, yes, he was just out injured, but it was just a little knock, which I'm saying is a big advantage to you all, because as you can see, his card does not go for much. But what you will see, $3.88, so rounding that up to, let's say, $4, is that he gets an assist. He's a vital piece of that defense, especially when Rudy Camacho comes back. This is going to be a defense that you're going to want a piece of. The bigger pieces, obviously, if we had a little bit more money in the budget, ranking wise, would be Shaburko would be number 1, Maldi Amundsen would be number 2, 3 would probably be Morera, 4 would be Mo Farsi, and 5 would be Rudy Camacho, because we don't really know yet what that looks like for this season. But with the third, that you can't go wrong. You've seen it with that $4 off that. I'll take that every day of the week. That puts us at $52 with a goalkeeper and a defender. So now we look at moving into the midfield. And the midfield is the next suggestion, where I would say you're going to look at Zawadzki. And here's why. You're going to see with Sean Zawadzki that his price is a little bit higher. It's going to be about $15. You're going to get the 65 and the 61. But let's say you're just looking for that filler piece, right? These scores don't really hit you. Well, then you're going to pivot to a Darlington Nagbe. And I'm actually going to use Nagbe for this, because if you look at this, his scores aren't that much worse. It's around that 50 range. He's pretty consistent, and there's been games where he does hit that 82 where he gets that goal or assist. It's very far and few between, but if you're looking to just get that ROI back little by little, Nagbe's the guy. Don't captain him, but he's a great filler piece. You're looking at about $3 to $4. So we're looking at that $52 now down to $48. And the next one is going to be Diego Rossi. Now, people are fleeing the market on Rossi. He has had a tough start to the season besides his first game, which you showed. It was a 96 out of 100. I mean, this guy is one of the top elite talents in the MLS. And for some reason, after a few games like that, people are worried. Now, I get it. The crew attack has definitely been decimated with the losses of Lucas Elarayan, Aiden Morris, and obviously the one who just left, and Cucho Hernandez. But it's the next guy up mentality, and that is Diego Rossi. You're getting him for about $31. So we talked about the $48 that we had left. $31 goes into Diego Rossi, and now you're left with $17. Now, with that, my suggestion here would be a Max Arfston, trying to stay under that $17 mark. You're looking at buying him for about $7 to $8, and you would have some extra change. Now, let's say you want to pivot and you want to play 2 in the defense. Well, then I would move up and go for rank number 2 and do that defensive pairing and try to look at getting a Maldi Amundsen. Right now, he's about $20 to $21, but depending on how you would maneuver with that budget, you definitely can send some offers and you could sneak Maldi in. He just came off his best game of the year for us, and he is showing that he needs to be a staple in that defense, especially when Camacho comes back. So having that two defense structure with this team, who's definitely going to be defensive minded in the meantime, and having Diego Rossi and then a filler piece like Nagby, you really can't go wrong with your in-season stack of the Columbus Crew there with the 5. So that is my suggestion for the Crew. Now on to team number 2. Team number 2 is going to be my other love, and that is FC Cincinnati. So the reason I picked these two are these are the two teams that I follow the most. Both teams that I have season tickets to. So obviously, my site for them is a little bit different, and I look at them in a different viewpoint, and I guess I'm biased, right? So we look at in the standings for the East, they're right neck and neck, 3 and 4, and that's where you want. You want these pieces who are going to be contenders going in week after week, wanting to fight for the top spots and not having a lot of rotation. And the guys I just mentioned in the first suggestion with the Columbus Crew are extremely consistent. You can make sure that those will be banked in with your money. So with this, you got to look at where is your first piece, and that is going to be Roman Celentano. Celentano struggled last year. There's no debating that. But this year, he's looked like he's already started a bit stronger, having some of those better scores. And the 63 seems to be pretty consistent, and then one outlier with the 73. So you're looking at, hey, this could be a new defensive structure for FCC as well. I mean, a defensive powerhouse, and there's a lot of pieces to pick up here. But first, we're going to go after Roman Celentano. We're going to round this up, call this $15. So out of the 70, we are now left with $55. And now here is going to be my shout. So DeAndre Yedlin, the games that I've watched from him, he's become a very attacking-minded wing back, and that's great because what we've seen with him is that he can get that assist, and you will definitely see that with this new attacking trio and Luca Orejano and Danke and Evander, and obviously we just saw it from this weekend, Yuya Kubo, and he is the Swiss Army knife. Watch for my suggestion with Yuya, but look at that. We're looking at $3-4 if you want to go instant buy. Boom, you're taking another $4 off that from our 55 now to 51. So next suggestion, everyone is going to say Evander, yes, but for budget purposes, he doesn't fit in this, so you have to pivot, and that's going to be Pavel Buka. Now, what you're going to see with this is Buka actually has had some games where he's already scored some bangers, and he's really cemented himself in this piece of, hey, you know what? There might be these attacking the trio, but don't forget about me. And Buka has had some great results already. 70, 77, 53. I mean, this is a consistent piece in your midfield, not one who I'm looking to captain, but one to help fill that and then be, involved. Very much so. So you're looking at $5-6. So we said we had $51 left in the budget. We run this up to $6. Now let's take that off, and now we are left with $45. Now here is where my suggestion for Danke comes in, but a little bit different. If you'd see, his price for his old season cards are about $18. We can't do that because we have Roman Celentano. But what we can do is look to spend up just a little bit more and get his new season card from are already from this year, which works out in this favor because you can use him until his old team has a new card up until August. So if you're looking to save a few bucks, which what we are in today's video, we're going to go and get Kevin Danke, and we'll round this up to about $33. So we talked about the money that we had left over is not much, and that is where I talk about the Swiss Army knife and Yuya Kubo. And now, as we've seen from this weekend, Yuya Kubo, he can play any position on the field, barring goalkeeper, but he's no Sean Sawatsky. But yeah, so you look at 68, 72. I mean, when he's involved and he gets to start, it's very consistent. And the problem is we're just still trying to find his piece in here. Now, yes, coming off the bench, it works, but you want to find someone who's going to be a starter week in, week out. Yuya Kubo probably isn't that guy, but for this, trying to fit that budget purpose, he fits that mold here. Now, what I will tell you is what I would do is grab Yuya Kubo, and I would definitely take a look at Server Inside, Predictify, see whoever's going to grab Yuya when he's going to be in the starting lineup. That's when I would put him in. But if you can't, then my suggestion would be is to pivot to another defensive player. And here you have a couple different options, but one that definitely will be in the future is Matt Miazga. So pulling Matt Miazga up here, this is great because he hasn't started in a while with a long-term injury. So you're looking at pulling the trigger on him for about $4. Now, you could get Yuya, you could get Matt Miazga, and you could still get another piece, which is great for you. So adding a lot more to your in-season stack and having some pieces to move around in case guys can't play, that really cements your 5 in that in-season stack. So yeah, that is for today's video and your suggestion from Detroit Bad Boy with the Columbus Crew in the FC Cincinnati stack. So hopefully this helped, and if it did, let me know on Twitter. It's at Detroit Bad Boy SR, and give me a shout out. Let me know. I've got suggestions, and hey, you never know. I might hook you up. I've got a lot of these cards. So, all right, man, take it easy. Peace.